God we trust, says on the bill. From boom to bust, may give a thrill, they can steal your life, dominate your goals, make a trouble and strife.
Hi there, Jonny here from Jonny Lipsham Studios.co.uk, and welcome to episode 6 of the Paper Deity mixing series. And in today's video, we are going to get into mixing the backing vocals and the lead vocals. So that's the plan for today, and then the next few videos we will get into individual channels, having completed the bus mixing, which is this is the last episode where we'll be doing that. And then, as I say, we'll get into individual channels, and we'll be hitting the mono button, and we'll be mixing that phase in mono. And hopefully that will just be for one video, and then we'll get into all the fun creative stuff like reverbs and delays and parallel compression, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so here we go. Let's open the mixer. And as you can see, we're set up on the backing vocals bus. And I'm going to tuck this back a little bit. I was just doing a little bit of testing just to see where, how loud it was. So I'm going to tuck that back to about minus 3.1. So let's just have a listen to just the first little bit of the chorus where we're set up. I've actually got it set up on a loop at the moment, but let's just extend that out just a little bit so we can hear just a bit of context. So this is where we're up to so far, but this time with the backing vocals unmuted so that we can hear them for the first time. Alright, so we got a little bit of a flavour for the backing vocals. They're a little bit quiet, a little bit buried down in the mix a bit. Let's go and actually have a look at what they're sat at. Okay, they look okay to me from over there, but let's go and listen to these in solo so we can bring them into focus and just kind of see what we got going on here.
In God we trust, says on the bill.
Okay, let's tighten up this loop zone so that we can concentrate just on those first two phrases, because the rest of the backing vocals are pretty much the same at in terms of volume and everything else. So we just want to just focus on this first little couple of lines here. So let's have another listen, and then we'll decide what we're going to do EQ and compression wise.
In God we trust, says on the bill.
Alrighty, so there is a little bit of noise there. I don't know how easily it is for you to hear that on your speakers or whatever system you're listening on. Hopefully you're listening to this on a good pair of studio headphones, or you're listening in your studio on your studio monitors. If you are, perfect. You're going to hear all the differences and all the changes that we make here. But if you're listening on just your speaker on your phone or earbuds or something like that, you're probably going to miss quite a bit of what we do here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with some of that hiss. There is just a little bit of hiss. We're not going to, there's not a lot, but there's enough that I want to clean it up. So I'm going to grab something made by Waves, which is the Waves NS1. And we're going to get this in first of all. And I'm just going to dial this up just enough that it clears that little bit of hiss.
In God we trust, says on the bill. In God we trust, says on the bill.
There, I'm hardly having to dial it up much. It's like literally on 1. I mean, this will go up to 100%. So we've got it on 1%. Generally speaking with the NS1, and I've done a review video of this guy, but generally, it's actually pretty transparent. It dials back any noise, but leaves most of what you're dealing with and what you want to preserve intact. But if you're really having to be very aggressive with it and you're pushing up towards 60, 70, 80%, when you start getting up to that level, it starts to, you do get some artifacting. And that is just the nature of noise suppressors and how they work. The harder you make them work, the more they will have an adverse effect on your audio. So, but this is actually really, really good. You can push it quite hard. Okay, so now that we've done that, the next thing I want to do is I want to tame some of those S's.
In God we trust.
Which they're not too bad, actually. They're quite soft, and when I was actually singing these, I was trying to be quite deliberate in softening off the S, particularly on trust. But, you know, I still want to err on the side of caution a little bit, but I don't want to make it too dark. So we're going to go and get the SPL de-esser. Now, you can use the native Studio One compressor in the internal sidechain filter mode. You can do that, or you can use the multiband compressor and achieve the same thing just by only using the high band of that compressor and dial in the settings there. I'm going to use the SPL de-esser. This is made by, it's made by SPL, but it comes as part of the Plugin Alliance group of plugins, so you can go and check that out. And I'm going to keep this on the male setting. And I'm just going to dial this up a little bit.
In God we trust, says on the bill. In God we trust, says on the bill.
Yeah, that's enough for me. I only want this to just do a little bit of reduction on the S's, not a lot. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to try and bring some brightness and some life to these BVs. So a little bit of EQ and compression is going to go a long way. So let's go and grab the Pro EQ. And we'll get that in, and then we'll work out what compressor we're going to use later on. So I'm just going to loop this and make my changes, and then we'll A/B them afterwards. So I'll just keep this playing for a bit.
In God we trust, says on the bill. 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 In God we trust.
Yeah, I know. Listening to that line is getting a little bit boring, so I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible so you don't have to keep listening to that line.
In God we trust, says on the bill. 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 In God we trust.
Okay, I think that's quite a bit better, but let's check it in context.
In God we trust, says on the bill. In God we trust, says on the bill. In God we trust, says on the bill.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely made an improvement. Let's check without in context.
God we trust, says on the bill. God we trust, says on the bill. God we trust.
Yeah, one of the low voices there is just a little bit too loud. I guess this guy here. Let's pull this back a little bit.
God we trust, says on the bill. God we trust, says on the bill.
That's better. Better balance. Okay, compression. Let's go for... let's grab the fat channel. And I think we'll go for the tube compressor. The LA2 style compressor.
God we trust, says on the bill. 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 God we trust.
Alrighty, I think that's made quite a nice little bit of a difference there. So now that we've kind of got the BVs dialed in to something that sounds considerably better than what we started with, and sounding good, let's move on to the lead vocals. Now, lead vocals is basically two performances of the same vocal to get that kind of nice, thick, double-tracked kind of effect, which is what I wanted for this song. So let's open that up to where the vocal comes in, and we'll go all the way to the end of the chorus there. And we'll just play a little bit of this with that in, and we'll see how she fits.
Another grace flashes past the window on the 13th floor. One more sad life crashes, broken by the yearn for more and more. Another spin of the wheel.
Okay, let's go and grab the de-esser. We'll just copy it from the backing vocals because it's me, it's my voice. So I know how much I probably need to de-ess, maybe just a touch more.
Another grace flashes past the window on the 13th floor. One more sad life crashes, broken by the yearn for more and more.
Okay, I'm just going to check this for some noise as well. So let's just solo up the vocal.
And another grey suit flashes past the window on the 13th floor. One more sad life crashes, broken by the yearn for more and more. Another spin of the wheel.
Yeah, I think we might need to use the NS1 a little bit as well. So let's move that in there. Put that at the top.
And another grey suit flashes past the window on the 13th floor.
Now, you might notice there that I actually knocked the mic, if you heard that.
Suit flashes.
There. Let's see if we can actually deal with that. I probably should have done that originally. How is it I never noticed this before? So let's cut there, let's cut there, and let's take that out. Let's take that out altogether. Let's see what that's like.
Past the wind, and another grey suit flashes past the window on the 13th floor. One.
There we go. That fixes that problem. Let's go back to the mixer. And let's go back to our vocal bus. And let's have a think about EQ now.
And another grey suit flashes past the window on the 13th floor.
All right, so I think we're going to go for the fat channel again. And I'm going to go for this high-pass filter section here. I'm going to get that up to about 115, I think.
And another grey suit flashes past the window on the 13th floor. One more sad life crashes, broken by the...
Okay. And we'll swap those around. Go for this vintage EQ. Because I really quite like this vintage EQ.
And another grey suit flashes past the window on the 13th floor. One more sad life crashes, broken by the yearn for more and more. Another spin of the wheel. Roll off the dice, or ace on the turn. You beg, borrow, or steal, or trade your soul for bands to burn.
Okay, let's just check this EQ in context.
Another grace flashes past the window on the 13th floor. One more sad life crashes, broken by the yearn for more and more. Another spin of the wheel, roll off the dice.
Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. Okay, let's go over to the compressor. And I'm actually going to stack some compressors. So I'm going to go with the LA2. And then I'm probably going to go into the FET style, the 1176 style afterwards. And this way, this is kind of like a stacking compressors style technique. And I use this quite a lot on vocals, and certainly have done maybe the last sort of 3 or so years. Now, some songs you can do it, and some songs it just doesn't sound right on, but I'm going to try it with this, and we'll see kind of like how it comes out. And we can always just revert to just a single compressor if we don't like it. So, but we'll certainly try it to start with. So let's dial in this LA2A style compressor.
Another grace flashes past the window on the 13th floor. One more sad life crashes, broken by the yearn for more and more. Another spin of the wheel, roll off the dice, or ace on the turn. Beg, borrow, or steal, or trade your soul for bands to burn. In God we trust, says on the bill. From boom to bust, make every thrill. It can steal your life, dominate your goals, make a trouble and strife. Seek another soul, this little pit. Dominate your goals, make a trouble and strife. Dominate your goals, make a trouble and strife. Seek another soul, this little. Dominate your goals, make a trouble and strife. Seek another soul, this little paper deity. Another grace flash. Dominate your goals, make a trouble and strife. Seek another soul, this little paper deity.
Okay, we're getting a little bit of a weird kind of anomaly going on dominate your goals, I think it is.
Dominate your goals.
And I think that's to do with a little bit of a clash between these two guys' performances. So let's just solo these up.
Dominate your goals.
Yeah, and it's to do with the fact that I sang them practically identically, I think.
Dominate your goals, make a trouble and strife.
So I think what I might do is just go to this guy here. Let's open her up a little bit, and maybe what we'll do is we'll just cut this line down a little bit.
Dominate your goals.
And I think we'll pull this down a bit.
Dominate your goals. Dominate your goals.
Yeah, that's definitely better. Let's crossfade that guy. And let's go back to the mixer, and we'll go back into context. And we'll see if we still have that issue.
Dominate your goals. Dominate your goals. Make a trouble and strife.
Yeah, it's much better. It's not perfect, but it's much better. And I think it's just the way that I sang both phrases pretty much identically.
Dominate your goals.
All right, so we've got the one compressor. Let's bring in that other compressor and see if this works. So we'll go for the FET style compressor, and we'll dial it in and see how we like it. So let's actually go to to that chorus actually.
Says on the bill, in God we trust.
Yeah, we'll pick it up from here. We'll get this guy in.
In God we trust. Says on the bill. In God we trust. Says on the bill. From the bust, make it a thrill. It can steal your life, dominate your goals, make it trouble and strife. So you can never solve this. In God we trust. Says on the bill. From the bust, make it a thrill. It can steal your life, dominate your goals, make it trouble and strife. In God we trust. Says on the bill. From boom to bust, make it a thrill. It can steal your life, dominate your goals, make it trouble and strife. So you can never solve this little paper deity.
Okay, let's just zoom in on this last couple of lines here.
It can steal your life, dominate your goals, make it trouble and strife. So you can never solve this little paper deity.
Do you know what? I don't think it needs it. So I think we'll lose it. I don't think we need it. To be honest, I think the second compressor is actually probably not helping. So we'll just leave it just with the one, just with the LA2, and we'll have a listen through the whole of that chorus just to make sure that we have what we want from the lead vocal.
In God we trust. Says on the bill. From boom to bust, make it a thrill. It can steal your life, dominate your goals, make it trouble and strife. So you can never solve this little paper deity. Another grace flashes.
All right, I think we got the lead vocal sounding pretty good on this front, and we may go and make maybe some corrective changes on these two guys to maybe deal with that little issue in the chorus maybe when we get into the next video, which will be individual channels. So I think we are pretty much done with the buses now, and so I hope you guys have found this a helpful video, and if you have, then please do hit the like button, and if you want to stay in touch with this series, then please hit the subscribe button and that notification bell, and you will know when the next video is coming out. So the next thing to happen here on my channel will be Sunday Night Live this Sunday, where we can actually discuss kind of vocal EQ and compression and that kind of stuff in more detail, if that's something that you're up for. And I'll be taking your questions on all things related to the music production from start to finish. Basically, if you've got questions about songwriting, arranging, production, as well as mixing and mastering and anything else besides that related to those subjects, then get your questions into the chats, or you can email me ahead of time if you've got a particular question and you know you're not going to be able to be in the chat, but you'd still like the question answered, then certainly hit me up with an email at johnny@jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk. And until then, folks, I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.
In God we trust. Says on the bill. From boom to bust, make it a thrill. It can steal your life.